All right. Good. Hey, that's pretty good. Thank you all. For those of you who don't know me, this is a wonderful day. My name's Ron Rordham. I'm the mayor here in Blacksburg, and I've always been just a long time excited supporter for the Black House and what we're doing with historic preservation and where we're going. So I thought a lot about today and thought back to on a day much like today, in fact, December 18th, 2002, many of us gathered here on the same spot to witness the Alexander Black House making its long, slow crawl across the street to its new home overlooking Draper Road. And it was a day of celebration. Hundreds of people gathered to watch this and to be part of this historic move. Now, on a personal note, I will say that they did let me kind of do the controls, and that was, you know, to move a house like that, and I'm very proud to say I didn't run into anything, which kind of worried me a little bit too, but we got it across the street and we got it settled. And as the basement was built under the house and the interior secured, many discussions were taking place about how best to use this tremendous asset that we have. Talks continued. Did I mention that talks continued? Well, I'm here to say today, and very happy to say, that the time for talking is over and the time for action is now. Today we gather to celebrate the next phase of turning this vision into reality. This day has come because so many like-minded individuals working together to dream the impossible dream and dare to be creative in our approach. This is just not a town effort, but this is a community effort. While the town has a strong record of supporting historic properties like the St. Luke and Oddfellows Lodge, Five Chimneys, Old Town Hall, it took so many people working together to make this day a reality. And I know Jim Rakes is going to talk about the foundation and the committees that have come before, where everybody has spent so much time in this effort. But I just wanted to add a word of thanks to everyone who's been involved, because without your dedication, this day would not be possible. When you look at the Alexander Black House, it's a traditional Queen Anne Victorian home. But it's also going to be a shining example of how historic renovation and modern culture can so seamlessly complement one another. This house will be one jewel in what has been termed the arts necklace of Blacksburg. Now, if you stand in front of the house, which is honestly what we hoped to do today, but the weather didn't cooperate, but if you stand in front of the house and you look out from the front, you can look at the Farmers Market, the Armory Art Gallery, College Avenue Promenade, the Lyric Theater, Squire's Performance Halls, many downtown art galleries, and the Center for the Arts, which is set to open in 2014. All of these venues put together serve to bring us closer to that vision we had over 10 years ago of making Blacksburg a regional cultural center, and we're getting there. And this, by all means, is a place where our history will be preserved and celebrated. But it will also be a gathering place for the community and a place for engagement with the arts. It'll be a place for creating memories as well as remembering them. The Alexander Black House, while it's not intended to be a visitor center in the traditional sense, but it'll be a gateway and a stopping off point for visitors as they seek to discover all that Blacksburg has to offer. And we're fortunate to have the firm of Glave and Holmes involved in this project. They, along with our contractor, Snyder and Associates, have worked with us very hard to bring in a quality project at a price we can afford. But they've done a great job within our budget. Now I'm going to turn it over and introduce to you all somebody who, anybody's involved with this process, he needs absolutely no introduction. Jim Rakes, who is the president of the Blacksburg Museum and Cultural Foundation. He, along with board members, have given so much of their time, talents, and resources to this effort. And Jim, you know, I've said this many times, and I know I'll say it many times in the future. Thank you very much. Here's Jim.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your strong support and for your encouragement over the past couple of years. And to Town Council, whose guidance, insight, and support are very much appreciated by all of us on the board. We look forward to working with you and to make the Alexander Black House a true community asset. A big thank you to Mark Vernil, Town Manager, for his vision and dedication to our foundation. And let me also thank a tireless worker and a guiding force behind our foundation, and that's Heather Browning, who's the Community Relations Manager for the Town of Blacksburg. She's gone above and beyond regular duty, spent extra hours, extra time, and has her heart solely in this project. For that, we thank you, Heather. As you can see, we formed a great working relationship with the town. And in collaboration with the town, we were fortunate enough to secure the renowned architects Clave and Holmes. Thanks to Adele Shermer, where are you, Adele, who's the Director of Engineering, and through her efforts with us, we worked to develop restoration plans for the Black House, always keeping in mind physical responsibility and the desire to create a space that would make the community proud. With Adele's guidance, we launched a bid process, and we were fortunate enough to enter into a contract for Phase 1 construction with a well-known and well-respected local contractor, Snyder and Associates. After thorough long-range planning for our relatively new organization, we have organized our members into important committees with responsibilities conducive to our mission and our overall goals. As we all know, the heart of any organization lies within its very dedicated volunteers. Before I go further, I would like to introduce this hard-working foundation board. And if you're with us, I'd ask that you raise your hand so people can see you. Tom Sherman, who is Vice President, Ed Lawhorn, who is Treasurer, Steve Critchfield, who is Secretary, and board members Bill Aden, Hugh Campbell, Paul Ferrier, Craig Little, Ann Linden, Kay Moody, Francis Russell, John Bush, Nikki Giovanni, and James Shockley. And to all, I thank you very much for your service to our organization and for all your hard work. We know our journey is only beginning, but I cannot express to you our excitement in this first phase of construction. We will be afforded a fully finished exterior and grounds and a good portion of the first floor, allowing us to open the doors of the Alexander Black House for small-scale events, exhibits, and programming. We will continue with our capital campaign, and with the completion of Phase 1, we believe we can reach our goal and provide sufficient funding to finish the full restoration. Our vision of all the activities that can be provided upon full completion of the house includes exhibits of art and history, workshops and classes focusing on cultural heritage and the arts, indoor and outdoor rental of space for special events such as birthdays, anniversaries, weddings, receptions, and so forth. And Blacksburg is now a part of the Crooked Road region, and we hope to highlight traditional old-time music as well as many other styles of music through our programming at the Alexander Black House and Cultural Center. We are simply building today on an already strong and established foundation. Years ago, the town had the foresight to purchase the Alexander Black House. And a passionate group of citizens who later became the town's museum committee, forged the way for what is happening here today. Many of those original members now serve on our foundation board, and a special thanks to all of you. For the past 10 years, Blacksburg has had a very active program of successful traveling exhibits, historic walking tours, lecture series co-hosted with our friends at Smithfield Plantation, and more recently, the Movies on the Lawn series. We've participated in many other programs, and we look forward to participating in new and exciting partnerships in the future. As you can see, I'm excited with where we are today and where we are going. Thanks to all of you for your support, as well as your many words of kindness. Now may I introduce Mike Snyder, Vice President of Snyder & Associates, and say once again how glad we are to have them as our contractor. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Good afternoon. Snyder & Associates is proud to be a part of this historic project for the town of Blacksburg. Over the past 25 years, we've been a part of a number of local and downtown projects, including the 500 South Main Street block restoration, the lofts at the Lyric, the River Mill Restaurant, Beau Arts, Castle Coliseum renovation, 801 South Main Street condos, and a couple of Rainbow Riders child care centers. Our office is located just a couple of blocks from here. We employ about 20 people. For this project, we'll be bringing in several local subcontractors and also be working with other local businesses to finish the project. Public-private partnerships such as these put people to work locally and help our local economy grow. Growing up here in Blacksburg, I remember the Alexander Black House as a centerpiece of downtown. My family and I value the history in the community. In fact, my wife, Christy's family, were some of the original settlers in Montgomery County dating back to the 1740s. The community is full of people who, like us, call this community home. I'd like to recognize a couple of people who will be working closely on the project with Snyder & Associates. I'd like to point out Rick Logan, if he would raise his hand. He's the construction manager on the job. Bill Levancher, who will be the site superintendent. I'd also like to recognize Doug Kaufman, who's our estimator, who couldn't be here today, and also the founder of Snyder & Associates, Georgia Ann Snyder, who also couldn't be here. We appreciate the opportunity to do this exciting project with the Town of Blacksburg and the Blacksburg Museum and Cultural Foundation's efforts to move this project forward. We understand how significant and important this project is, and we're looking forward to being part of this phase in the history of the Alexander Black House. And with that, I'd like to introduce Randy Holmes, the senior principal with Glave and Holmes Architects.
Thanks, Mike, for that introduction, and it is an honor for us to be here today with you all. And I am Randy Holmes, Senior Principal with Glave and Holmes Architecture, and with me today I want to introduce Stephen Blashfield and Fernando Variego. Stephen is the director of our cultural studio and has been overseeing the project, and Fernando is our project manager. And so we are really honored and excited to be here and to be a part of this. You know, every once in a rare while, an opportunity comes along to create something that becomes a meaningful symbol that has ability to speak to both the past, the present, and hopefully to future generations. It's interesting that such an opportunity happened over 100 years ago, back in, it was around 1897, when Alexander Black, who had become a prominent businessman by this time in this community, his home burned. And it was a tragedy, but he had to recreate his home, and so he began to think thoughtfully about how to recreate his lost abode, and he decided to build a home that would be, first of all, a symbol for the community of progress, that, you know, he had made progress as a businessman and as a banker, and he wanted to have a showplace that said that Blacksburg was making progress. And he wanted to build a home that was a symbol of family legacy. He wanted to build something of quality, something that his family could feel proud of and to carry forward in. And very important to him, if you know the history, he wanted to build a home that was a place of hospitality, a place where people could gather and they could remember the past, they could celebrate good times, and they could create or generate their own memories to carry forward into the future. And so for us today, we stand on the threshold of a similar significant opportunity. Because of the decisions of Alexander Black and his family over 100 years ago, we have today a wonderful opportunity, a chance to build upon and continue the symbolic meaning of this house to this community. It's a house that will be a symbol of a rich past. You all know the history of Blacksburg, and it was actually Samuel Black's, or actually Alexander Black's great-great-grandfather, Samuel Black, his son William, who dedicated the 16 squares that started this town. And it's from then till now, you've got a history that's rich with community, a story of people coming together, working together, sharing together, growing together. And the Alexander Black House stands as a place where those stories can be shared and celebrated. As Mayor Rodham spoke, it's also a symbol for culture and arts. It's wonderful and exciting what's happening in this community in the development of the culture and arts, and this becoming a regional center for that. And this house is a wonderful opportunity to bring people together and to share ideas about art and culture, history and community, and to really showcase the creativity and the entrepreneurial spirit that is Blacksburg. And most important, in one sense to me, is the idea of civic pride, that this would be a symbol of civic pride. It's been wonderful to participate with you and to watch as this community has come together and rallied and put their resources behind the conversion of this house, the recreation of this house into the Alexander Black House and Cultural Center. It's really a wonderful story, and I hope that you'll continue to be behind this project, that you'll continue to give it its legacy. I think if Alexander Black could be with us today, he'd be very proud of this town and very proud of the people who've done so much to seize this opportunity and make his home once again a symbol of progress and a symbol of legacy and a symbol of hospitality. Now, we at Glavian Homes, we've been fortunate to work on a number of renovation and restoration projects. Two recent ones were just, we were awarded, the American Institute of Architects gave us awards last year for Washington and Lee, the renovation there of the Colonnade. And if you know that campus, it's a significant collection of buildings on that campus. We completed Mon Alto for the Thomas Jefferson Foundation. And it's a home built only a few years after Alexander Black House, and they converted that into a center for retreat, scholarly retreat, and for intellectual engagement. And those projects have been significant, but I'm really proud and excited to be a part of this project because it represents so much of a community that's coming together, a community that's excited about its past, excited about promoting its current culture and arts, and excited about reaching future generations so that all who come, people who come to visit Blacksburg and people who come to live here and to become a part of this community, can see a symbol of civic pride and a symbol of coming together as a community. So I salute you, I congratulate you. We are excited, and Mayor Rodham, I think it's time to move some dirt.
I've got two